Well, folks, and here we are again on this Love Be Afrobeat Music Talk Radio. Petraa is in the house, yes. So, Petraa, we just came on there. Take it away.
Yes, Love Bay family. Happy Saturday. It's your girl Petraa here representing on the HWY to Afrika with my wonderful co-host TYB and Ron Malinga. So big up, shout out to everybody on this wonderful happy Saturday. And yeah, so I want to ask you guys, how are you guys this week? How's everything, Ron?
For me, I have no complaints. Came back from a beautiful little getaway in a place called Tofino, which is on the west coast of Vancouver Island. Absolutely gorgeous, surfer's paradise. Hey, it was nice to just get away and do something different. Ate well and slept well and walked some beautiful beaches and met some interesting people. So hey, it's always nice to do those kinds of things, something different for my regular week. So yeah, I have no complaints. It's starting to sunshine here on the west coast, but it's been raining and on and off. I got a bike ride in, and it started to rain partway through, but who cares? Made it through. So how you doing, TYB?
Well, Ron is always teasing us, right? Because it's on the other side of the country, which the weather is so beautiful out there. He's always teasing us. But
I know. And fancy vacations, Ron.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. If you guys recollect, remember last week I said we don't have to be overjoyed because spring has sprung. But then, hey, Old Man Winter always has something to tell us before getting out of the scene. And lo and behold, I was right. In Ontario, or in Toronto for that much, we had snow. In the spring, snow. In the spring, and the weather is not pretty out there. So, all the same, what can we do? Well, the week has been very busy, but we're trying our possible best to see what we can do. And here we are, so excited to be here again on Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on HWY 6 to Afrika with you guys.
Yeah. Most definitely. It's been a pleasure, So yeah, so big up to all our listeners that have been tuning in, This week we're not going to be having a guest, but we'll be hosting ourselves, Our guest today will be Ron Malinga, TYB, and you got Petraa in the house. But I know that whenever we do these kinds of shows, we always get a lot of feedback, from our listeners from all over the world. We get people reaching out to our producer, Jan, shout out to Jan, and the whole Love Bay team, always working really, really hard behind the scenes and also in front of the microphones as well. So I know we have some topics that we're going to be talking about today, and I have one that I want to touch on, So I definitely love to get both of y'all's feedback and any listeners' feedback as well. And I think the topic I want to talk about kind of ties into something that we've touched on before, So I haven't dived too deep into this, but it's enough that everybody has been turning their head a little bit, So I want to talk a little bit about Kanye West, So Kanye himself. I saw that, Ron. I saw you lick your cup.
Okay.
That's controversial. No, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, the reason I want to talk about him because he ties in very much into a topic we've discussed before in the past about the effect of mental health in the music industry.
Yes.
So I definitely wanted to talk about him. So I mean, there has been a lot of controversy like last week with a lot of the posts he makes on social media. Ridiculing the children of like Beyonce and Jay-Z, also talking about his frustrations with people and the world, you know what I mean? And I want to talk about people being quick to label somebody as crazy versus a person crying out for help, Because So I kind of want to look at it from both perspectives, and I look both of you to kind of just dive in and also give both of you feedback, you know. But I feel like Kanye West, I mean, his whole story, I mean, a lot of it have watched his journey over the past few decades, you know, him rising from, you know, a producer, a very, very talented producer, then turned artist, extremely talented artist, you know, and then just reaching worldwide acclaim and fame, you know. So he's definitely proven himself to be a phenomenal creator, artist, you know, not even just in the world of music and production, but also in the world of fashion with his brand Yeezy, you know. So he's definitely a mogul, a pioneer, somebody that, you know, like influential, that could be looked up to and respected. However, you know, on the flip side, he does say a lot of controversial things, does a lot of controversial things. Like, I think it was a few weeks ago, he was out wearing like a swastika on his t-shirt, you know, and with his wife, you know, getting her to strip on the red carpet, you know what I mean? And then also, I think the most recent thing is putting his daughter featured on a song with P. Diddy, you know, which again is raising some alarms for people too, right? So there's so many things going on there, you know. I mean, is he a tormented artist, genius, or is he really suffering from a mental break, you know? I mean, there was a clip of him saying how they invited him to go to like a wellness retreat, but it turned out to be like a mental hospital, you know what I mean? So all of those things, you know, I mean, I think those are a lot of things to look into, because it makes you think about, you know, as an artist. I mean, you know, there's so many struggles that you face just to try and get to the top, but then when you get there, there's all this pressure, you know, all so many things that people like us couldn't even imagine that they have to deal with, you know. And it makes you think about, is the money and the fame even really worth it, you know, if it's going to lead to that, you know what I mean? So there's so much more I can say, but I definitely want to open up the floor to get both of your opinion. So Ron, any thoughts on that?
I can say one thing for sure. I don't think there's an excuse at any time to be wearing a swastika. I don't care who you are or what the situation is. I don't think that's appropriate. I'll say this because I know that it is highly frowned upon, and therefore I would say to that in myself, it doesn't matter what kind of mindset you are in. There's not a reason or an excuse or any reason to be wearing a swastika. That I will frown on. I would frown on highly. I know that even Prince Charles at one time, Prince Harry at one time really got nailed by social media for doing that. He had a swastika. He was at a Halloween party, and somebody got a photo of him wearing a swastika on the side of one of his clothes, and the amount of attention he got on that one was way over the top. I shouldn't say that it wasn't needed. I would just say that anytime somebody does that, we have a politician, well, a friend of the politician, who did the good old Hitler sign on stage, and that was also noted highly amongst the media. You don't do that. In fact, so much so that they're now taking his cars and their places, and they're starting to pull their not pull. They are starting to. What's the word I want to look for? It is. People are boycotting, protesting would be a good one, and also doing a lot of damage due to that aspect of him doing the good old signal, the Hitler signal. I don't even know what you'd call it. The same sort of thing, and you're going to be paying a price for it, for doing that. And I will say, I'm not going to say I don't encourage people to do that. However, in terms of going and wrecking vehicles or, protesting, sure, I think that's fine. However, to wreck people's things, I don't think that's appropriate either. However, at the same time, you've got to be held accountable, no matter who you are, and in whatever frame of mind you are in. Because if you are in the media, then like you're talking about colleagues, same thing. If you're in the media, you have to watch what you're doing, and otherwise, why did you even get into this industry? There's my thought on it. Remember, if you are not willing to pay a price, and you are in some ways for what you do, then don't even go into the music industry. Because if you start doing things that are not appropriate, people will frown upon it. And I mean, there's people that have had many things. Look at Amy Winehouse. Amy Winehouse is an example of an artist who had a lot of problems. And of course, if you look up Amy Winehouse, you know what happened to her. Mm-hmm. However, it's just one of those things where I look at it and I say, no matter what, I mean, like on this show, we are not going to start doing strange things and being weird because we don't want to be frowned upon. And I don't think anything of what I have said is weird or anything like that, nor would I do that, because as soon as you start doing that, you get attention. And that's one thing I wonder about with this, as I know from being a teacher, is it simply to just get attention? Mm-hmm.
Good point.
And that is my question about that. And my thoughts where I'd go with that. Is it attention getter? TYB, let's hear your thoughts.
Well, when it comes to mental health, it's something that we all have to go back to the drawing board, because, you know, society has stigmatized mental health. Mm-hmm. Because of that, I'm even so encouraged. I mean, we are at a better place right now than, I would say, about 10 years. I won't even go further than that, because we have misunderstood, or society has, you know, brought this a topic like it's a taboo to discuss it. You know,
I don't think it is.
You know, it's not a safe place where it matters, because where we are right now, if we are able to speak freely about it, the better it is for us. Because at the end of the day, something has got to give. Something definitely has got to give. Because when it comes to mental health, it's so dear to my heart. So when it comes to Kanye, for instance, because society has not been able to identify or to sort of give credence to, or to come to understand it, it's painful. Because like Petraa, you rightly said, he is crying out for help. And where is the help going to come from? People are looking at it from some angle that, oh man, the man is rich, so he can do whatever he wants to do. He can say whatever he wants to say and stuff like that. But then that is not the case. We have to go behind the curtain and see what is actually happening. Exactly. You see, let's take it this way. Mental health it's not a stigma. You see, and it's very broad. The three of us here, even if you don't feel good about yourself, right? Let's put it that way. Do you know the need of being accepted can even turn into a mental health if you're not being accepted?
True.
Yeah, we have to. So when it comes to mental health, I think the other time what we indicated was that we were going to bring somebody in the mental health sphere, a doctor, a psychiatrist, to come and speak on this subject. So I think we've made strides, and very soon we'll get somebody to come and talk about it, because this is something where we don't talk about it. You know, we feel everything is hunky-dory. Mariah Carey, Lady Gaga, and
Ariana Grande, the most recent one.
Yes, and all of them are coming out. So I think is having an impact to say that, okay, if Mariah Carey is that way, even Beyonce suffers from, you know, bouts of depression and stuff like that. So it doesn't know your status in society, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you're a pilot, whether who you are. we all go through mental health issues every day in our offices where we work, or in our factories, or wherever we are, in the studios where we work out. You know what? At the end of the day, we don't know what people are popping, pills and stuff like that. They say, "Oh, I'm going into the washroom." You don't know what they are going to do. They are going to take, pills to pump
Exactly.
themselves up. We don't know. So Kanye needs help. So we all have to support him, but not with the swastika. The swastika thing may have been triggered by what he's going through. Because if he
Mm,
has to sit back and say that, you know what, I'm going to do this just because of his past, then we say, okay, that's who he is. Even there, we have to look at it from that angle. But if I can end it, I think we started seeing that part about him when his mom passed away.
exactly. Exactly.
He broke down after his mom had passed away. Then
Mm-hmm.
we saw him going downhill, right?
Exactly.
So people should stay back and then start to think about what we need to help ourselves, including the listeners, those of you who are watching us, to sit back and see what we can do when it comes to mental health, what we can do to help ourselves and society in general. And Petra, thanks for bringing this topic. I mean, I'm very happy you brought it up.
An expert in the field would be way beyond us. I think that would be a better person to have than just say our opinions. And I value everybody's opinion. However, an expert would be a good person to bring in.
No, for sure, for sure. And lucky for you, I actually have been to college for psychology. But however, I know you're saying.
I have too.
Yeah. So then we're experts, Ron, and our opinions matter because we're in the industry. We've been artists, musicians, like our opinions matter. So obviously, definitely having someone that is accredited is fine, but our
Mhm.
opinions do matter,
Yeah.
And just to kind of just touch off some of the things that TYB has mentioned, if you guys are watching us on YouTube, shout out, think of yourself, love Bear all day, every day on the Highway 6 to Africa. TYB will be right back. And me and Ron are still here, but touching on some of the things that TYB said, right? He brings up some really, really good points. There's one thing I also want to touch on too, right? Is like when we see someone like a Kanye West that's worth $1 billion, that this man just all he needs to do is make one tweet, one comment on his social media, and it makes the news. That's a
Yep.
person that's highly influential.
Yes.
So you have to think about at the same time, like who profits off this man's pain? Like who profits off this man not being in his right mind?
Mm-hmm.
Because if he's surrounded by all these people who accredited, have experience, have the wealth, and the knowledge to know how to identify a person like a Kanye West or a Mariah Carey or Ariana Grande, if these people are surrounded by people that have the ability to identify that, then we need to ask why they're not getting the help that they need.
You know,
No?
I can't answer that fully, but I have done Psych 101 and many other courses in this area, and worked with a lot of young children as well who've had psychology, some problems in the area of psychology. Uh, when it comes to situations like this, I think of it like almost like alcohol in that you have to be the one that wants to get the help first. Nobody's going to be able to fix you unless you want to be fixed first. You have to be the person that goes and steps forward to say, I would really like some help. Can someone help me with this problem? And if you're not doing that and you're taking it out on others, it becomes very problematic for you as an individual, especially with a person like you're saying, like Casey, who has a lot of influence. It's going to hit back really badly. I know I have many friends, and I'm sure we all had friends who have been alcoholics at one time, and they're still alcoholics today because of that's what they are. And they still go because they are, once you're an alcoholic, you're considered to be an alcoholic for life. However, there are some people that have stopped drinking and refused to drink, and they've gone to AA and they do all those kinds of things, which is great. And that's the way it is. I have a really good friend like this who he's the nicest guy, However, he cannot ever drink ever again, and he knows it because at one time he was an alcoholic. And this I find is very similar to anybody who has some psychological problem in that. And though I'm not an expert, I can say that you have to be that person that says, enough is enough. I'm going to be the person that's going to go forward. My mom passed away. My mom did too. I know this. And it is a real deep in thought process that you go through. However, if you're needing help, you need to ask for it. It's like going to a doctor. If you don't ask the doctor for the help, you're still going to have the problems. And I don't want to lecture on this, but I think that it's the way that it goes in terms of getting fixed. If you have a problem, see the doctor, see a professional. That is my only advice that I can give someone, just because I know from working with many people too in the area that when they get help, it usually, not always, has a benefit to it. Sometimes it takes meds, sometimes it doesn't. There's no right or wrongs to that. I can't tell people what they should be doing. I'm not a doctor. I'm not qualified for that. But you really have to think about it as you as the person has to take the horse by the reins and say, I'm going to lead the way here to what I want to do. Any thoughts, TYB?
Yeah, if you're going through this kind of stuff, you don't know. You don't know. Because sometimes we do certain things, but we question ourselves as to, did I do that? Did I really do that?
Exactly.
Did I really, really do that? People just go, poof, just like that. I mean, if you look at ourselves right now, we are packing our bodies and our brains with so many chemicals, reactions, and all these kind of stuff. The environment is also a factor of this kind of situation that we find ourselves in. It's true. He may have advisors, people in the studio, people, his advisors, his what have you, his team, if I can put it that way. I'm not saying this. God forgive me, and if they may be listening, they should also forgive me about this. That if it comes to money, I don't want to let go of the money. So even if he's misbehaving or saying something like that, do we really? Can we even say that they don't see what they are seeing?
Thank you. That's what I was talking about, profiting off his pain.
Have they spoken with him? Have they sought help for him? We don't know. We don't know. So far as the money is coming, I'm not saying that is what they are doing, but that's human nature. If the water is, flowing, why put it out? Why do you create an environment that will dry the well? Right? So I think in his case, I really feel sorry for him. I feel that society should have to come and embrace it. The media too should also sit back. Anyone who writes about his behavior, he did this and that, they should also check themselves out, because they have not gone beyond the call of duty to say, you know what is actually happening. I know negativity sells.
Thank you.
To sell newspapers, to sell all these things sells.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course it does.
But the fact is, have they seen the other side of him? Because for him to be coming out to be making all these statements, it's not about him because of the fact that he's rich. No. Because he doesn't want to go and say something that he can be sued out of, nowhere or elsewhere, what have you. Right? So sometimes we have to step back a little bit before we judge people. Because if we judge them, there's this saying, the African saying, that if you point your finger at one person or somebody, the 4 fingers are also pointing back at you.
Yeah, true.
Point your finger at a person, and you see the 4 fingers will be, the 3 fingers will be pointing back at you. So we have to step back and see what we can do, what we can embrace, how we can do, or what we have to do to help our brothers in need. And sometimes one thing is that, Ron, Petraa, you'll be talking to somebody's bubbly at the party, we go out together and all these kind of stuff. Or If we're going to go shopping, they are there. If we're going to go to a concert, they are there. If we're going to go to the studio, they are there.
Mm.
And we call them, they don't respond. We call them once, twice, forget about TYB. When we call him, he doesn't respond. These
Mm.
are some of the signs that the experts will tell you that the person
Mm.
might be going through something. Check on them.
Yeah.
Check on them. And there's so many ways to sort of find out. But we don't have to come to a conclusion that, oh, yeah, TYB, I called him once and he thinks it's all right. He thinks he's got some money, or he thinks he has made something. That he thinks, or she thinks has got to, we rather have to go beyond the curtain and find out what is actually happening. It's just like you have a baby, a toddler, a 2-year-old, 1-year-old who has started to walk. Most often than not, the parents are there. You know what? If you're looking for little Johnny or little Amy is not there, go into the washroom there. Go and check on the toilet paper. Oh yes, they will roll it up. they will spend they will spend their time. They think, but when we go there, say, why did you do that? We always question. Stop it. You don't have to do that. And we start to educate and say, do not do that. And do they understand it? Mhm. But if you continuously do that, they will come to understand it. So if we continuously come around people who are going through help, even ourselves, I think
Mm.
it will change the tide for people to come and understand. Because in so many societies, people kill them. People kill people who have mental health issues.
Oh wow.
People kill them.
Wow.
They kill them. Say, what is this person doing? Because most societies are not open enough to embrace, the situation that we find ourselves in. There was a country in Eastern Europe after the overthrow of the government. If you saw the institutions where the media caught up, you weep.
Mm.
People with mental health issues crammed up. So, I don't even want to revisit it. So all that I'm saying is that it is real. Mental health is real,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to make sure that everyone receives timely access to quality healthcare services. Wherever
Yep.
you live around the globe, where
Yeah.
it matters. Thanks for bringing this topic. It's something dear to my heart, to include AI. So go ahead, go ahead.
See, that was the other topic, but I'm like, we kind of just rinsed out the AI a little bit, which we'll always have things to talk about. But
Yeah, this
yeah,
is very important.
I've thought a lot about AI.
and there's so much more we could say, But yeah, this really was yeah, because I've been seeing it a lot, and I question a lot, and just to kind of piggyback off some of the things that you said, TYB and Ron, like, yeah, Ron, I do agree with you. I do believe that a person has to want the help, in order to truly change. You can bring a horse to water, or you cannot make it drink it, right?
Correct.
However, in what TYB is saying, it's like if a person doesn't even know that they're a horse and that they know that they need water, then it's like it's hard to judge them by the same standards, And I mean, there's people that I've known over the years that all of a sudden, like, you see them and they're okay. Then you don't see them for a few years, and then it's like, you hear them in the psych ward, or you start seeing them conducting in strange behavior. And at first, it's kind of like, what is that person doing, But like TYB says, like, you have to, like, really just look at the situation. I use this term a lot now, and just to give people grace, give people grace, the same compassion that you'd want someone to give to you if you're in that situation, like, one thing that really comes to mind, kind of picking up back off what TYB was saying, is like, and I was saying earlier, is that who profits off these
Mhm.
artists when they're not in their right mind, It's these major corporations, it's the managers, it's the lawyers, the accountants, Oh, he's not in his right mind. Let's just keep him medicated up. Look at Wendy Williams right now. Wendy Williams is under a conservatorship where she can't even access her own money. Like, they did an interview, I think it was Harvey from oh gosh, I can't remember, like Entertainment Tonight or one of those entertainment shows. They couldn't even interview her face to face. She had to be by the glass on her phone. Nobody can have access to Wendy because her conservator says she's under mental health, even though Wendy's like, I'm not crazy, I'm fine, you know. But whoever has conservatorship and control of Wendy has control of her finances. So is if they can label these celebrities as crazy, it gives one or two or a handful access to their resources, you know. So
Mhm.
all of that has to be taken into consideration when we're looking from the outside, you know. Another thing you mentioned too was about the media, TYB. Like the media needs to kind of ease off
Oh
him, you know.
yes.
But recognizing
Mhm.
the fact that, yeah, we all recognize too that negative news sells, you know. So if they put all this crazy stuff about Kanye West, all of a sudden all eyes and ears are going to be on their publication. So now it's like that's an opportunity for them to rake in the money at someone else's expense, at this man's livelihood, his sanity, his well-being, you know. And that in itself is an issue that needs to be explored.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. No, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I agree. So we would like to use this opportunity to urge people to sort of step back a little bit and then help in any which way they can when it comes to mental health. It's not all about what glitters is always not gold. We see artists mounting stages and doing all sort of things, some weird stuff. Sometimes it's not them. Remember we had an artist here the other time.
I know.
um, you
Trinisha.
know
I
that's
know who
right,
you're talking about.
that's right, you know who's going through a lot. And there
Mhm.
was the other young man too, who came
Yeah.
in, and
Yeah.
it is there. It is really there.
Hmm.
So if we don't see them acting bizarre, that doesn't mean it's not there. In our industry, it is there. It is really, really, really there. Some of them sign contracts that, they sit back and say, oh, how did I do it? They were advised, but hey, they take it upon themselves to go that way that they want to go. But sometimes, were they thinking right? Just like I said
Mm-hmm.
before, was it because of the money? What was their background before they entered into that?
Mm-hmm.
Poverty also can drive people into doing certain things that
Most
they
definitely.
hitherto might not have, thought about. So once they get into that, it becomes very difficult. So it's it's a huge topic that I think everybody out there it's not about them and us. It's about all of us. It's not about
Mm-hmm.
mental health.
Hmm.
It's not about them or us. It's about all of us. So, um, Highway 6 to Africa, to our listeners around the globe, we are urging you to to step back, look at ourselves, and if we can help in any which way we can to help others in need and also ourselves, is better. It's not only about us, it's about the artists themselves, because we are restricting ourselves to the art, the music industry right now. But we've seen some as artists, myself as an artist, and Petra and Ron as people who have been in the industry for some time. We see it.
Hmm.
We see it every day on stage with even our members in our group, members within our group.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Hmm.
I belong to a group way back, and then we were just performing, and the bass guitarist just out of a sudden just put the guitar down and walked off stage. We
Wow.
went looking for him. We didn't see him. We couldn't find him. So somebody
Hmm.
within the band. So later on, we found him. He was sitting somewhere, sitting down under a tree, staring, looking at, into the horizon. See, at the time we started insulting them, but over the years, having come to grips with what is happening with respect to mental health, I've come to understand that man was going through something that I didn't know, and I regret, that. I mean, hindsight 2020. So it's a very good topic that you brought up. It's
Hmm.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Hmm.
for sure, for sure. The reason I brought it up is it's like you see across the board, you know. Like I briefly want to mention like Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande, like they're two artists who recently been in the news, you know, like especially like the stuff
Yeah.
that's happened with Justin Bieber about what's happened in the P. Diddy case, you know, he's been mentioned a lot and connected with that case, you know. And it's really, really sad to me because it's like, as that news came out, that was a shock to the whole world, you know,
Mm-hmm.
especially when they're playing back his videos from when he was younger, you know. And it's like, people are showing this young man compassion, but a lot of people are not. Like, they're ridiculing him, not thinking, okay, it's bad enough that he had to go through all of this trauma in secret, you know. Now that it's come
Mhm.
out, now that it's exposed to the world, when you think people show him so much more compassion and rally behind this young man and support him, it's even more ridicule. You know what I mean? So you can see it in recent pictures that is taking a toll on him, you know? And it's really sad
Mhm.
because people, they just think about these people, oh, they're an artist, you know. Corporations look at them as a product or a means to sell products, but who looks at them like humans, like people? Even a lot of the relationships these people are in, they're in relationships with people that use them, you know, want to be with them because of the fame or the money. Like, so a lot of these artists, they're alone in a crowd full of people, you
Fair
know.
enough.
Yeah.
And it's just
Yeah.
so sad, you know. Like
Yeah.
Ariana Grande, like, people have noticed that she's dramatically and drastically lost a lot of weight, and it's like people talk about it and then it stops at that. What's next? You know, like, these artists need help, but is it because we're so desensitized, you know, by the media and all this stuff that's happening that we don't know how to take action? Or is it because, oh, that's a celebrity, like, how can I help them,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
then, you
Mhm.
know, so food for thought. What do you guys think about that?
Well,
You
if
know?
Well,
if if left out Britney Spears,
Oh,
we have
yeah,
forgotten
Britney
about
mhm.
Spears
Britney.
too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Wrong.
Britney
Go
Spears.
ahead,
There's
please.
there's people like Karen Carpenter, which goes way back.
Oh.
Had anorexia nervosis. Same thing. She was noted as being one of the best drummers in the world, and not only that, she has had an incredible voice.
Oh.
However, she died way before her time, just
Mm,
because she had no control over her anorexia. It's just she just kept basically melting away to nothing. And so when it happens like that, I guess there were times where it felt like she was getting back onto the, I'll say, the main road, um, but it just never happened. It should just end up passing away, unfortunately. And I'm sure, I think it was her brother that she was working with at the time and had always worked with. I'm sure he was, from what I saw, what you could tell from on stage, they looked like they were absolutely fine, straight down the middle, everything was going fine. But you don't know what's going on off stage.
exactly.
We really don't.
I
Um,
know.
and everybody has had to some degree, a difficulty in their life, whether it, for one reason or another. And I just think that, as I've said already, without repeating myself, is this, you need to get the help. And there's no shame in it.
Oh.
There's absolutely no shame in getting help. And if you have people around you who love you and care for you, they will only support what you do. and
Exactly.
that's and this is who you need. You need people who are truly with you. And for us, I don't know about you, but I feel absolutely great that I have a lovely wife, Lisa, who's so supportive.
Lisa!
Yeah, and you know what? That's the thing is, and no matter what, we support each other, one another. I'm sure, TYB, you're the same with Jan. Same thing idea. Without putting people on the
I
spot.
got Kingy.
It's okay.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah. So it's just, you have people around you that you trust, you love, and those people, and it says for better or for worse, those of us who
Yeah.
are married, will be with you, come bad or good. And those are the kinds of people that we, as older people, I'm going to say older, not younger, in their young 20s, or in their teens, you don't always have those people. You're not really sure why your friends are liking you. Is it because of the money? Is it
Mm,
because of the one thing or the other? No, I know personally that it has nothing to do with money, because my wife would have left me long ago. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
now we know.
Yeah, I'm kidding. I'm just saying that you have to know who your friends are and the people that will love you through good and bad. And it's really tough when you don't always have that figured out.
Yeah, when you go into the studio, to the artists out there, when you go into the studio and you feel that, some artists write what how they're feeling, what they are feeling,
Yeah.
the
Mm.
lyrics,
Yeah.
and we don't pay attention to that. Say, oh man, that
Oh.
was great, man. And they write
Mhm.
about things that they are going through or what they went through,
Yes.
you know. And some people don't even tell, they don't come out to say it. But it's not a taboo to say that you're going through something. I see a psychiatrist. There's nothing wrong with it. One, society has made it to such an extent that, oh, I'm going to run. Geez, I'm going to see a psychiatrist. Society has said, oh man, my God, you're going to see a psychiatrist? There's something wrong.
Get me off this show.
That's
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Uh,
All right,
yes,
that's
seriously.
it's. Who
That's what
cares?
we've been made to, we've been made to soak into our psyche that, what, if you see a psychiatrist, there's nothing wrong. There's
mhm.
absolutely
Mm.
nothing wrong. If you know the history of modern medicine, you will sit back and say, my God, and this is what I'm going through. Because back then, in the 1800s, for a fact, historically, chiropractors and naturopaths were the people that people adored. But some money's passed somewhere down the line, and our minds were twisted just for the sake of creating or giving us some medication that we don't need. So we threw them out. Ask me, what be if you go to the deepest jungles around the globe? I'm not saying, go to the Amazons, the natives there. Go to most parts of Africa or India or the natives there who have never been to hospitals. They are cured with herbal medicine, right? Even if your bones break, they are able to use herbal medicine to cure you. But you see,
Mhm.
this is where we are right now. It's all about money. It's all about money. I'll put it that way. Money. Nothing goes, without saying about money. So when it
I
comes to the taking care of ourselves, going into the sitting back to see what Johnny is going through, what that guy is going through, what that woman is going through, we always say, okay, just like how Petraa said, if Ron has money, if TYB has money, if Petraa has money, I don't care. She can take care of herself. But then the people
Mm.
around him may not even know that she is going through something.
Exactly.
Maybe you sit back and
yeah.
say, okay, Petra has written that line. What does she mean by that? We don't question that.
It's true.
We don't
Mhm.
question why she wrote it. But here on this show, sometimes we ask why they wrote certain songs.
Mhm.
When an artist appears on this show, we ask them, most times we ask them, why did you write this song? What
Mhm.
was your first song? What were you going through? These are some of this is
Exactly.
what is behind why we ask those questions.
Yeah.
So it's a very good thing that we are dedicating this show to mental health within the music industry. Take it or leave
Mhm.
it. It is what it is. We have to face realities that it is there. It is there. It's happening as we speak right now in the studios, in
Mhm.
on the tour buses, on the planes, on the special jets or what have you. It's happening as we speak. But the question is, do we sit back and ask as to why those things are happening or why that person is going through that? And I'll go back to the fact that we always have to listen to or read in between the lines as to
Mm.
lyrics that they
Yes.
did right. Then we'll be able to put ourselves in their places to ask why they wrote that. The floor is
Mhm.
yours, please.
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny you say that. Any lyrics that we see coming from a major artist had to go through a major label. They had to
Mhm.
sign off on that album. So number one, it's like, are we really truly getting that artist feelings? Or are we just getting what the label has allowed us to get? Number one. Number two, going back to what I was saying, like it's a trend that you see that these major corporations, it's not just the labels. To me, record labels are like, I shouldn't say on ever, you know, but like major labels, they take artists and they just share them around and they let people profit off them. And there's terms for that I'm not going to use on the radio, right? But that's what it looks like, you know, for real. They take people who are already traumatized, dress them up pretty, or they take them when they're a child, traumatize them, you know, because traumatization is a form of control, okay? Throw money at the trauma, dress it up nice, put makeup on it, fly it all over the world. And we as regular people are sat back thinking, oh, why is so-and-so being strange? Why is so-and-so? Because they were never meant to be in that position anyway. A lot of these people we look up to, they have problems. You know what I mean? We all have problems. But you're taking a person that has problems, that hasn't gotten any help, and then you put them in the public sphere to be a role model for children, to be a role model for this brand or that brand, you know, inadvertently knowing that that person's behavior is going to impact others. And a lot of the time in negative ways, you know, when these artists, they have a lot of children as following, but they go do reckless things on stage, you know. So all of that needs to be questioned. But again, it's because why? Because they make money off people's trauma. They make money off people's pain, you know. Why is the news 99.9% negative and only like, oh, and just to end off the show, Sarah saved this cat from a tree. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like that one tiny thing, you know?
Yes.
All of this is by design, you know? So we as people, I think we need to wake up. We need to wake up. Society needs to be woken up. And like, God forbid, you know, I don't want it to take like something happening and a Justin Bieber taking his life, knock on wood, I pray it doesn't happen. Or a Kanye West doing that, or someone to be like, oh my gosh, we shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing that. I'm tired of hearing like Mac, I think his name's Mac Miller. I think it's Mac Miller. I wasn't really a big fan of his music. I didn't know much about him, but I know that he dated Ariana Grande and then he committed suicide, you know? Juice WRLD. He's another one that died of an overdose. And these people are praised for their music. But if you listen to their music, it's all about pain and suffering. So you know that at some point, if they don't get help, that this music is going to manifest itself into an action. But at the same time, the label's like, yeah, well done, great album, you know, great. That's all they care about, you know? And it's the people that listen to these artists, that love these artists, that support these artists, that need to stand up and be a support, be a voice for the voiceless. If that really is your favorite artist and you really care about that artist, be a voice for them, you know? Like send messages of support. Like maybe you might never get to meet them in real life, but you know, any negative media or anything negative, counteract that. Send them messages of love and support, you know, post them on their social media. Justin, we love you. We support you. Like something like that. He may scroll through his social media and it might be your message that he sees that gives him that hope. We can't feel like our actions are too small that they can't make a difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough. Though, you know what I find with social media, this is what I've noticed, is that all the big artists, it's not them that are in control of it. It's management that's taking care of all, like for instance, on Instagram, you can write a message to any artist you want, but their management team is going to be looking through it as to what they want to share with the artist and what they don't want to share, because they could have thousands of comments a day come in. And so, I mean, if you have the time to look at thousands of comments a day, you don't have, man, you're not writing music anymore. However, my point
hope
being,
from just to the hope. Maybe he'll look. Maybe like by chance he'll look at his page and you know what I mean. Not that he's gonna skim through thousands, but you know, like everything happens for a reason. You know.
Oh, and then I agree. And I think the best thing that everyone can do is be just as nice a person as you can be. Mm-hmm. And because I think that generally speaking, you just don't go and start being nice out of, you know, for picking who you want. I think it's part of your personality. It has to be something who you want to be as a person. It's not going to just sort of, you're not going to just say, oh, Petraa, you look beautiful today, just because, you know, oh, that's a good thing to say today. Now I'll go be a jerk, like I normally am. So I think that you have to look at yourself and say, am I positive? Do I help people anyways? And I think that you could be helping. It doesn't have to be the superstars. It could just be even helping those around you, those closest to you. Are sometimes they're certainly more easier to get in touch with. And I'm not saying, Petraa, that we shouldn't be saying positive things about artists. I think go ahead. If that's what you feel like you wish to do, I say kudos to you. Go ahead. But I think it's a frame of mind that you have to be in that says, you know what? I think I'd like to just be a nice person rather than be a jerk. And this is how I would approach things. I didn't try to be a jerk as a teacher. There were some kids that were very challenging sometimes, and it made it very challenging to be, very uplifting. However, you try and be as positive as possible because people don't like negativity. To me, it brings. It would suck. This topic in itself, I'm glad that I'm not on this show when we talk about this every week, because then I'd be starting to go, okay, I think I need to get out of here. But I'm not saying this isn't necessary at all. I'm just saying it is a tough topic to approach, and I just tend to like that. I like to see people laugh more than I like to see people cry. I had a guest come over to our house last night, and I was making her laugh because of the things I was saying to her about high school. And so I'm glad that I was doing that as opposed to her walking out the door in tears. So I think you as a person look at others and go, hey, I just want to be it's called positive motivation. I think positive motivation, I've been in many workshops on this as a teacher, and it's so much better than the negative stuff. So
I agree. I think we have to build the support system. The support system has got to be very, 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 very strong. If you look around and then you see somebody going, haywire, it's not that the person likes it. People have stories to tell. Sometimes, in Toronto, you go to downtown Toronto, there's a park over there. And in the summertime, you go there, you see different kinds of people, brothers, sisters, there. And if people going, you see them in pain. Some of them, living on the streets. But each one of them has a story to tell. Each one of them. We don't have to look down on them and say, look at that guy. Look. I used to go downtown when I was working downtown with my friend, Bill. And we used to go to the park every summer, buy coffee, buy all these things, and then go and share and sit down and talk to them, right? We were at a McDonald's, and which is situated at that place. And I think McDonald's may have trained the staff very, very well to identify whoever came in there. This guy came in there and he ordered fries. And when he was giving the fries, he started making some noise and says, no, I didn't order fries. He said, what do you want? The manager and the staff were so understanding to such an extent that I came out with Bill and said, man, these people have been trained, because each one of them have a story to tell. If one of them come out to say, okay, this is my story, may have been doctors, engineers, fathers in good standing in society, judges, so when it comes to I'm trying to say that when it comes to mental health, it doesn't know your status in society. Your PhDs, your Ferraris, your Teslas, your this,
Exactly.
If you go into so many of these homes, they just don't want to come out and say that, okay, Joe Blow, my son or Joe Blow is, he has a mental. They'll cover it up, and it eats them up.
The cause.
Yes, it eats them up. You see $1 billion house or whatever amount of money you may attach to it, standing there, but go behind it. That's where you see skeletons in the closet, but they shy. They don't want to come out to say that, okay, I needed help. or my son has mental health problems and all those kind of stuff.
Oh, this
If you
occurred because I sacrificed my child because I spent my time focusing on making money.
that's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
That's a
That
lot
is
of
why I
people.
love the soccer, the soccer moms and the hockey moms. They sacrifice.
Mm,
The support
they
system is there.
do.
Yeah.
Whether it's winter time, whether it's whether they have to drive through whatever, they sacrifice and come to understand that okay, this is what this my child needs. So what I'm trying to say is that we have to build a very strong support system with this industry. The way it's going, the way people are not making money as they thought they were going to make, it's going to cause a lot of havoc. And this is where we
Mm,
have to start looking at each one of us and also look at what they are writing and asking them if we get the opportunity to ask them why they are writing that. Some of them may be upfront with you, others may shy away from it, but shying away from it is not the right thing to do. TYB, I have been in the business for a long time. I see psychiatrists.
mm-hmm.
I've been through so many things, but I'm who I am right now. My son went through a mental health situation. The support system was there, and he's great. He's good. My brother-in-law too went through, but with the support system that Jan gave him, he's thriving. He's doing great. So if the
Mm-hmm.
support system is not there, irrespective of the fact that Kanye, back to Kanye, if Kanye has money and all those kind of money cannot buy everything for him.
Exactly.
Money cannot buy everything for him. As we're speaking, there's somebody out there in a hospital. If you open a bank account, you run billions, but the money cannot save that person. No matter who the
Mm,
doctor is, they can get the best doctors, 20 of them. If they can, because the fact is, they did not seek help when they needed help. They just kept, oh, business. I have a business meeting here. I have to do all this kind of stuff. And in selling
mm,
them, oh, I'm feeling this way. I have to feel. Oh, Johnny is feeling that way. Don't know. Oh, we just allow our daily businesses overshadow what we are going through. If you are in the studio and don't feel great, confide somebody. Talk to somebody.
Someone you trust.
Somebody you trust. Somebody will try. Somebody who will not go and take your story to go and make millions.
exactly.
Go and sell it to that media guy because that media guy needs a story to go and show it to the editors to be able to publish. But like we said, negativity sells. And what are we going to do about it? So, as artists within this industry, there's a lot of pressure in this industry. People may not,
Yes.
there's a lot of pressure. It's a jungle. If you lose
Mm-hmm.
sight of 1 second, you'll be eaten alive.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where people do not understand that the top-notch artists are not out of the woods.
Yeah.
They've made the money, but we don't know what is ailing them. We don't know what is going on behind the scenes. They have to come out there to come and say what they have to say, do what they have to do on stage. And at the end of the day, do we see them? No, we don't. We only hear
Oh,
about them when they are going to perform, when they are on tour. In between there, do we know what they go through? Do you know the hospital that they go to? No, everybody has a problem when it comes to mental health. And in our industry, it is predominantly out there. So we need to build support systems as artists, the artists, musicians fraternity. If we see one of us going down the hill, we should be able to, give them the support if they want it. And that's if they want to trust us. But then at the end of the day, it's not about them, it's about all of us.
Yeah.
yeah. No, I totally agree with you, TYB. You touch on some really, really good points. And in mid sentence, I kind of jumped because you're like, a lot of people don't know what artists go through. And this is not necessarily on the topic of mental health. It could. But I was in shock. I think it was like last week or the week before. And I heard that like one of my all-time favorite artists growing up. Like I love her, Dawn Robinson from the group En Vogue.
Oh, yes.
That she's living homeless in her car and she's been homeless for the past 3 years. You know, like I literally cried tears from my eyes when I heard this, because I'm like, she was the voice of En Vogue. Like a lot of us grew up listening to her. Like they were the divas, the queens of R&B. And to know that after everything she's contributed to the music industry, to the art form, to the genre, and she's sleeping in her car, and she's like, oh, I'm not really sad about it, you know, like it's just because these artists have been messed around so much, and because they have so much fame. What people don't understand about fame is, right, fame is a bit of a trick, because you have all this fame and you might have like sign a deal, you get the money and the fame. When that money runs out, fame does not run out. Okay, money runs out, fame doesn't. You could be walking around, oh my god, that's so and so, and you don't have a dime in your pocket. You don't look the way you're supposed to look because you don't have the money. Then they're like, oh, I saw so and so, and they look broke, and the next minute that's all over the news. So a lot of these people, they live in fear. Like I respect her so much for having the courage to come out, but then it's like, shame on you, the industry. Shame on the industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they should, artists, like especially artists like that who are known to be iconic, should not be in that type of situation. She's not the first. There's so many that I can name, but shame on the industry. You know, we had this artist had $1 billion, but this artist that was around 10, 20 years before you has nothing. They're sleeping in their car.
Mm-hmm.
Something's wrong.
That's right.
Kool Herc, the guy that invented hip hop music, he doesn't have the money that these millionaires and billionaires have, and he created the genre of hip hop that the entire world profits off of. So something is wrong. Something is really wrong with this industry, you know?
It's called greed. Sorry to say.
It is. Yeah, was it just recently that an artist has just recent Grammy Awards? One artist came out, forgotten her name, who came and spoke about what we're speaking about right now, about the industry having to support people that they don't care about. She made some nice speech, and she passed away.
Wow.
Right? She did.
Wow.
Right? I mean, from where I sit, I think she was in pain. She said, I was just, during COVID, I was just a waitress. And I wrote this song, and I became who I am right now. But then she was telling the industry to take care of the artists. It's not about the money, right? Look at Spotify. Today I saw one of our artists who came through Highway 6. Says, oh, I've got 200,000 Spotify streams. And I laughed. 200,000? And how much are you going to get? Nothing.
Yeah,
They don't care
exactly.
about you. They don't care about 200. You can have 500,000 streams. What does it translate to? Zilch, nothing. You cannot buy a cup of tea, because the media, that industry has used the media to create something into our minds as artists, that if you have this, oh, you are on top of this Spotify, or you're on top of this, or you're good. No. 0.6% of the top tier artists make over $100,000 a year. 12 million of them. 12 million of artists don't get nothing.
Yeah, you see that.
They use your image, sell your ads, sell all those kind of stuff. You don't get anything. So at this particular point in time, you have to sit back and think about yourself. If you have to go indie, go indie.
Yeah, you can make money as an indie artist. It's just you need to know how.
Now, the future is going out there to perform. Clubs, you take the money and then you go. You're not beholden to anybody. You put it in there. God so good, social media is there. Use it. Now radio is the future too, right? So do that. Use it as the starting point, a starting block.
Yeah.
To move ahead, and not to sit back and then go through so many things that can create some problems for you mentally. You need to sit back with your mental health and your well-being, your personal well-being intact. Yes, Rob.
Well, to all this, I can say that right that any of the social media that puts your music out there is not going to be the future at all for anybody to make any huge amounts of money. Sorry to say, folks, AI is going to take over in so many ways here. Anyways, they're going to start writing songs. People are going to start. People can write songs in less than a minute that are, probably better than most artists are going to write out there. Probably better, not always. But what's going to save you to make your money is to stand on stage and be able to perform. I just saw a huge competition where the only way, and they narrowed it down to 3 songs, and the only way you could win in this competition was to be able to come and perform them live.
Good.
Yes, exactly what I thought. Live in front of the audience. And the audience, they said, would decide on who the winner is.
Yes.
And I thought, okay, perfect. This is cool.
Yeah.
They didn't win it. They got $5,000 for winning, and the 2 runners-up got $500 each. Who cares? It's not always about making $1 million. You're not going to make $1 million at any performance unless you're Taylor Swift or somebody like that. However, my point being is that if you are looking for social media to be making your money for you, it's not interested in you. I'm sorry to say, it is just not. So you better love music for the sake of music itself, the joy that it brings you, rather than how much money you're going to make from it. Because if you're shooting at it for the money's sake of it, your chances are pretty small. It's just like you trying to be a superstar for the best football team out there in the world. Your chances of being that person are almost nil. But that's not why people love football. They love it because they enjoy playing it. They enjoy, whether there's 5,000 people in the audience or just their best friend is watching them, or no friend at all. They do it because they love it. And that's the reason you should be doing music. And what will bring you the most joy and happiness is just even seeing those few people around you who are clapping for you and say, thank you so much for playing. We really enjoyed your show. Or coming up to you afterwards. Those are the joyous occasions. It's not social media that is going to do this for you. I'm sorry to say, it will not do that. If you're looking on your computer every day for happiness, you're looking at the wrong place. I'm sorry to say, your computer is not the one that's going to bring you happiness. It's real people who are going to do that. Real people, not social media.
You have something to say. I hear you, Ron. I hear you, TYB. I hear you that artists do definitely need to, perform live. But I think we can't discredit social media, because I do social media and I see that this is a really great way that artists can get paid. If we're talking about social media just for streams, yeah, you're gonna be there all day, like from now until the cows come home. Yeah, you'll be waiting for that money. However, if you look at what a lot of these major artists are doing, they found a way to generate revenue online. Like you can go onto Twitch, you could go Instagram Live, TikTok Live, and you can get paid. People can give you money.
Yeah.
Live performances. You can promote yourself on social media and you can do live performances. From a particular venue. I mean, there's lots of different ways. What it takes now is that a lot of artists cannot be lazy. A lot of artists are lazy. They want to get signed to a label and then, given all this money, and then they do everything for me. No, it's not the 80s anymore, okay?
Yeah.
It's 2025, okay? You need to be a walking, talking business. You need to be your own corporation. So there's lots of money to be made out there, but you need to have a strategy. You need to have a plan. You need to know exactly what you do. You need to look at artists out there that are similar to you and see what it is they're doing to be successful. A lot of those artists who are independent artists making money right now, they work their butt off. They work their butt off. So you cannot just think, it's going to come to me. You got to work. Think outside the box, and you will get paid.
I agree. How can anybody disagree with you, Petraa? And I'm not saying that you're not going to make any money, but you better be in charge of the show, like you're saying. And I think what you're going to find, though, is I've been looking into this quite a bit. I've been looking into AI quite a bit. And I'm going to tell you, folks, we have not even touched the tip of the iceberg. You're going to have people soon to someday in our reasonable lifetime here is saying, write me a playlist that sounds like, I'll say, sounds like Petraa, and I would like them to be 100 songs. They're all different. Most of them are going to be R&B and reggae songs with a few hip hop songs. Make them sound like with Petraa's voice, and just write me the 100 songs and put it onto my phone. Thank you very much, and it'll do it. Snap, bang, boom. Here's your 100 songs. Thank you very much. This is using Petraa's voice. So, folks, that is where we are headed, and unfortunately, that's not going to help people out. What's going to help out is the person who is alive with skin. That is where people are going to be most, because I've heard songs now that are written better than most people will write in their lifetime, and they're smoking songs. I'm going, oh my goodness, if this is just the start of AI, we're not even close to where we're going. And so you better be able to play an instrument and sing for people in person, because it's the only way it's the only way that you're going to be able to really tell if that's really the artist. Because I could make a video of an AI song and say it's me singing it, and it's Justin Bieber's voice, but I could mouth it like they do in videos just to get the video going, and I could sing and say, yeah, that's a great voice. But then I'm going to be saying to you this. I'd be saying, okay, let's go see the person live, and the truth will come out there. That's
like Milli Vanilli.
Exactly. Yep, that's the one, and that's a good example. And it's not the only group it's happened to.
However, the world.
Yeah, and I tell you, it's where we're going. And if you're gonna not be able to do your stuff and just sit at a computer and write your music, I'm sorry to say, they're gonna want to see you in person, and that's where I predict will be where the money, and it still is today. That's where the money's made. It's on stage, man. It's not in your record sales. People aren't buying records anymore, or very few people are buying records. So if you're looking for your computer to be solving all your problems, I'm sorry, it's not going to do that. It's because you don't even know what the truth will be. What is the truth when it comes to songs that you hear on the radio? Mm-hmm. I could say, as I just used you as an example, Petraa, how do I know if that's really Petraa or not?
Mm-hmm. Me. You don't know.
Exactly. And that's where we're going.
Hi.
What people may do is they may go like this. Okay, Petraa, somebody's written 1,000 great songs that have your voice in it. Maybe you'll be going on stage to perform some of those because they were so well written.
Yeah, I can get paid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That may be where we're headed. And we're right at the very tip of that iceberg of where we're at for AI. And if you're looking there, folks, wait, it's coming. And you are not going to even be able to tell who the artists really are. And we think these cases where people have used Drake's voice, that's nothing. That's going to get done all the time. And how? Here's my point in all of this, because I've thought about this. Okay, this is the one example that we've seen Drake's voice and used in another song. What happens if 12 million people start doing that out there? How are you going to end up? Who's going to end up in court that many times with that many people? It's just going to become the norm. I'm going to use TYB's voice because I got it on the radio on here. There's TYB's voice, and now I've got 50 songs that sound just like TYB did on stage. And the worst part is when you go to a live performance, they can take their phones out, record your voice, and say, now write me a song that sounds like Adele. Here we go. I want 50 songs that sound like Adele. And 50 great songs, and Adele will go, you recorded my voice. She got really upset about this one time on stage too, because people were recording her on stage. And she said, put your phones away. I'm live. I'm here. I'm really here. She stopped the band right in the middle of the song. And I thought, good for you, Adele. She's telling me, put them away. Watch me sing. I'm singing right in front of you, because everybody's like this with their phone up there. Well, it's going to be, I wouldn't even be surprised in the future if you want to see artists sing and play, you have to put in your phone into a bag at the door. because they won't let you record the artist because then they know they can steal their voice.
No, for sure.
I know it's for sure. It's going to happen.
Wow.
You made some
I know
good
it's
points.
Yeah.
You make some
I've
good
looked
points.
I've looked into this. The only thing that I asked AI even about this, what's the point of me even writing songs if somebody can write them using my stuff anyways? He said, because Ron, you have feel and creativity, which AI does not have.
Exactly. You know, so it's exactly that's a good point. You know,
Wow.
so but yeah, this week has definitely been like. It's been a topic, you know, definitely one that we can definitely extend, and I'm sure we're going to continue this after the show, guys. So definitely we'll be keep continuing this conversation. But any final thoughts, Ron TYB, before we wrap up?
Heard enough of mine.
It's okay, Ron. We loved it. Raleigh, TYB.
Yeah, it's been a very great topic, and I mean that was good, and at least somebody we may have helped somebody out there. You know, that's the essence of the show, and that's the essence of our backgrounds and what we see within ourselves. And when it comes to mental health, it's not about them, it's about all of us. It's not about them and us, it's about all of us. Artists, doctors, what have you, police officers, what have you, presidents, prime ministers. It's about all of us. So we have to check on us and then build some support system to help us all. Because mental health is real and it shouldn't be stigmatized. That's my word for this week. Petraa?
Awesome. Well, that's it. That's all, folks. It's been another fantastic ride on the Highway 6 to Africa with myself, Petraa, Ron Malinga, TYB. We'll be back here next week, Saturday, on the Highway 6. Make sure you strap up, keep it locked, wind down those windows, feel that breeze as you're speeding on the highway. And join us here back next week, Saturday. Bye, Love Bay family.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.